And here now to react to all of it, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. By the way, he has a great new book out. It is hilarious. I've read it cover to cover. How to Test Negative for Stupid and Why Washington Never Will. Senator Kennedy, Washington never will, huh?
No, sir. It could be different, but I think most Americans, they will, if they read the book, understand that normal in Washington, D.C. is just a setting on the clothes dryer. It doesn't have to be that way, and this book will give you a little insight about why Washington is as it is. It's not a policy book per se, Sean. It's a story book, and I use stories to make my policy points. Many of those stories are funny. Some of them are bizarre. They're all true. I hope this book will make people think. I hope it'll make them laugh. It may make them day drink after they see what it's like from the inside. If you want to understand why we're in a shutdown, read this book. If you want to understand why Lindsey Graham, who was just interviewed by you, is mad as a mama wasp, you read this book. And Lindsey should be mad as a mama wasp.
I agree with you.
Not only does he have a legal claim against justice and the FBI, he's got a legal claim against these telephone companies that turned over his records.
Always be yourself unless you suck. I say this gently. This is why the aliens won't talk to us. If you trust government, you obviously failed history class. I believe our country was founded by geniuses, but is being run by idiots. Always follow your heart, but take your brain with you. I mean, the water in D.C. won't clear up until you get the pigs out of the creek. I have the right to remain silent, but not the ability. Common sense is illegal in D.C. I know, I've seen it firsthand. Senator, I mean, line after line in this book, it gets better and better and better. You're a great writer.
Thank you, Sean. I wrote this book with a handheld dictaphone sitting at my kitchen table in Louisiana, and then, of course, you know what it's like. You go through edit after edit after edit. But I try to be very accurate. I try not to be mean. I talk about what it's like to work with President Trump behind the scenes. You know him if not as well, if not better than I do. What you see is what you get. He exists loudly, but he is very effective and he's very transparent. I was one of the few senators who actually got to meet for more than 30 minutes with President Biden. I talk about that experience and what that was like. I talk about Ted Cruz. I think it's an accurate description. I said Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio can talk the dog off of a meat wagon, and they can. They're very articulate. I talk about the media, my experience with the media, and how biased they can be. We're number one on Amazon, so I'm really proud of that, and I hope people will give it a look.
You can go to Hannity.com, Amazon.com. It's now in bookstores all around the country. Tell us about the meeting with Biden, because that's priceless.
Well, I met with him about midway through his first year. I went to a bill signing. I'd passed a bill, and he wanted to have a picture with a Republican. As soon as he signed the bill, his staff tried to get me to leave, and I wouldn't do it. I just started talking to the president. And we talked about I wanted to get him talking. We talked about his dog Major. We talked about Corvettes. He showed me his cabinet room. But here's what I concluded. President Biden, remember, this is his first year. He had reached that point in life when all he wanted to do was sit around, talk about the old days, tell stories, and when he got tired, he wanted soup and an early bedtime. And I came back to my office, and I told my staff, I said, I will bet you that the White House is not getting more than 4 hours of solid work out of the president. It was clear that you saw the beginning of neurodegenerative disease. That wasn't his fault. We all age differently. But I knew it was going to get worse, and it did. And his staff, they hit it very carefully. But they reached the point finally they couldn't hide it. He had to debate President Trump, and we know how all that turned out. But I remember thinking,
Okay.
you know, my dad was like this in his last years, and I had to take away his truck keys. And President Biden had reached that point in his life. It was kind of sad, frankly.
Too bad somebody in his family didn't have the love you had for your father, as hard as that is. How to test negative for stupid and why Washington never will. You can get it on Hannity.com, Amazon.com, bookstores all around the country. You're definitely going to want to read this book. It'll make you laugh, cry, and realize truth that you wish you thought of yourself. Senator, we always love
and it'll
having you.
it may make you day drink, too.
Okay, well, we may have to try that out occasionally. Senator Kennedy, thanks. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.